Good morning, Baker to Vegas family. It is that time of the year again. Yes, most definitely. Time to start preparing for Baker to Vegas 2023. My goodness, it seems like we just finished up the last race. Actually, I just did. But it's time to start nonetheless for 2023. So welcome to the first team captains meeting. I still hear some dings going on, so I'm guessing people are still jumping in. We'll give them a second or two to filter in. Again, my name's Rick Santos. I'm your race coordinator. Most of you have my contact information. All right, I want to make a few introductions. The club president, the lap rack president, is Ruben Gonzalez. Unfortunately, he is in training today and cannot make it. The race director, once again, is Amanda Langford. I believe she's on. Amanda, if you can unmute yourself and say a few words. Oh, maybe she didn't make it on. She is a sergeant out there in the field, so she probably got tied up on something. Our lap rack general manager is Ruben Crane, and I'm giving you these names because these are folks that you're going to have interactions with. Ignore the gunfire in the back, folks. It is a gun range. And the assistant coordinator is Adina Garcia. She's once again, she's bravely stepped up to assist one more year. Adina, if you're on and want to say hello, that would be the time to do so. Okay. All right. So let's jump right into this then. First things first, if you haven't done so already, I highly encourage you to jump onto our YouTube page. That's Baker to Vegas, and subscribe to our channel. I am doing my best to put out weekly postings, videos of information that comes out during the week of anything that is relevant to the race. So, Adina just jumped on, so she's going to say hello to y'all. So Adina, if you're there, unmute yourself and say hello. All righty. Nope, guess not. Just kidding. All right, so did you share the screen? Yeah. Yes, if you can. So Ruben Crane, who's assisting me here, he's going to share the screen, and on here is our Baker to Vegas YouTube channel. And if you look through here, we've done our best to separate the videos with the logos and the headings. The 2023, I think we have 8 or 9 different videos of updates as well as some tutorials. So please jump on there. Again, like I said, I'm putting stuff out at bare minimum. Please check it at least once a week to see what new information is coming out. I want to make sure that you have everything that you need in regards to information. So please, again, YouTube, Baker to Vegas, click that subscribe button and get your information. In case you don't know, which I'm sure you do, race weekend is April 1st and 2nd. The check-in is that Friday, April 1st at the Rio. And it's the same process as last year. You'll be coming in and checking in, getting your team signed in and picking up your race packet. Room block information. You can find this information on the bakervegas.net website. Ruben's I believe, going to share the screen again and show you where exactly to find that information. Here's where you want to jump in and book your rooms. I did the calculations, like I mentioned in some of those past videos, for checking in Friday and checking out on Monday. And I believe the average rate was $157 a night.
Inclusive of resort fees.
Correct. And that includes your resort fee. So there's nothing else. That's, as the saying goes, out the door. That's $157 a night out the door. So you're not going to get hit up with any additional fees or any surprise fees. So just keep that in mind. Once those rooms are gone, that's it. There's no more. We can't get any more rooms. So they do go fast. They went fast last year. They are selling now. So if you haven't done that and you intend to stay, at the host hotel, I highly recommend that you do that immediately. Registration. I'm hoping, okay. Stand by. If someone can unmute themselves and make sure that you guys all can hear me, somebody just give me a thumbs up or something.
We can hear you.
Okay, roger that. All right, just want to make sure. Sorry about that. Somebody was saying that they couldn't hear me. User error. All right, so registration. Registration is open and has been open. If you have not yet received your link, please reach out to me, B2V coordinator at laprac.com, and we will make sure that you get a link to register. The one thing that I ask that you do, even if it's your second time registering in this new system, is take a quick review of the video that I've posted on that YouTube channel on how to register. I take you from the moment you receive that link, clicking through it and going step by step on how to register your team. And the reason why I ask you to do that is because many of you are making the same mistake that is making it hard for you to register your team. So please, once you receive, if you haven't registered already and you're getting ready to, please make sure to look at that video prior to doing that. All right, Adina is now with us. I see her on the screen. Why don't you go ahead and unmute yourself and say hello to everyone. Introduce yourself for those who don't know her.
Hi, everyone. I am Adina Garcia. I am the assistant coordinator with Baker to Vegas, working alongside with Rick. Good to see some of you back, and I look forward to working with those who I have not yet had the opportunity to do so. Please don't hesitate to reach out. I am always available. My phone number and email are always listed there, and I'm more than happy and willing to help as best as I can. If I don't have the answers right away, I will be certain to get them for you. So look forward to speaking and working with everyone.
All right, thank you, Adina. Okay, so we're going to go through and I'm just going to do a quick review of the new rule book. And reason being is because we've made some changes, and I want to highlight some information that is relevant to right now. The first thing being the payment schedule. We've changed it up a little bit this year, meaning, you know, if you pay before December 31st, the entry fee is $2,300. If you pay between January 1 to January 31st, the entry fee is $2,500. So normally where we would close off registration, we've left it open this year. The only thing is obviously the price increases. So it behooves you to pay early in many respects. And if you pay February 1 through February 15th, your entry fee is $2,800. That is in the rule book on page 3. So for those of you who are making notes, page 3 has that information, as well as the refund schedule. The refund schedule is full refund by December 31st. And then every 30 days after that, or every month after that, it decreases as far as the percentage. 75% if you pull out in January. If you pull out in February, you get half your entry fee back. And after March 1st, there is no refund. And please keep in mind, there's an additional $400 that's deducted if you've already collected your t-shirts. So please keep that in mind. Regarding the entry fee, how to pay. So this year we've put together a way to pay online, and we'll go over that at the end of this meeting. You're going to have the option of going into the LapRack store and purchasing your entry fee, essentially, and you'll be able to pay via credit card. We were hoping to have the ACH set up, but that is not set up as of yet. So with that being said, you can still send in your check to the LapRack office. And I'm going to give you that information right now that you may need. So hopefully you have something ready to write with. Again, the entry fee is $2,300. The check is made out to LapRack. That's LAPRAAC. And the address to send the check to is P.O. Box 861148, Once again, that's 861148. Los Angeles, California, 90086-1148. 90086-1148. Here's another important part of that. In the memo section, here's what I need. I have put the majority, the vast majority of your control numbers on that registration website. So you're going to need, if you don't know your control number, you're going to need to log back into that registration website, pull that control number, and reference it in the memo portion of your check. The only teams that don't have it are the ones that registered yesterday after, I want to say 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the afternoon through today, because I have not had a chance to jump back in and do that. So that's literally just a handful of teams. The new teams, the first timers, you don't have a control number listed either. In the event that you do not have a control number, utilize the temporary control number that is listed next to your team name. All right, team captain meetings. Those are also listed on page 3 of the rule book. And the first two, October 5th, which is today, and December 7th, are Zoom only. Both of them are at 1000. January 25th, that is the day that we have our first in-person team captain meeting. January 25th. My guess is that's the first day we're going to have to pick up shirts. So January 25th, mark that on your calendar. As we get closer, we'll make arrangements and talk how we're going to do the shirt distribution. But again, January 25, and that will be here at the Elysian Park Academy in the basketball gym. Race Friday. Last year we got away from the meeting before the race. I tried to put out that information, relevant information on YouTube. I got some dislikes, if you will, on that. So we decided, hey, we're going to go back and do a meeting on that Friday. The date is the 31st and the time is 1800 hours. So that's March 31st at 1800 hours. The location will be in the convention area there at the Rio, where you pick up your packets. We'll designate a location, but there will be a meeting. I will put out any information, any new information that's come about that hasn't already been addressed in the YouTube videos. I'll have a question and answer. So we'll make sure that all of that gets addressed for you. Plaques. This year, there will be no finisher plaques. So if you mug, you still get a plaque. If you don't, then there won't be any plaques. And it's very simple. It's because I have boxes upon boxes of finisher plaques still in from last year as well as previous years. So instead of collecting those, the decision was made, hey, no more finisher plaques. But if you place and get a mug, you will still receive your plaque. The categories. Some changes were made. So I highly encourage that you look at page 5 of the rule book and go through those categories. A couple of things that I wanted to highlight is that first note there on page 5 talks about all sworn teams only all sworn teams are eligible to win the Challenge Cup trophy and belt buckles. One note to that is the trophy will also stay with LapRack. It will no longer leave the premises. So once you win that trophy, you can take your photos there in Vegas, and then the trophy will come back with LapRack. So just be aware. The other notes in there, retired employees, there's a definition of what entails being retired. Minimum of 15 years of law enforcement agency service. And if you do not have a retired ID, because we acknowledge the fact that not every agency gives out retired IDs, you must have a letter signed by your chief of that agency requesting that you be allowed to run. And if you have that information, then we're good. Multi-agency teams in the past, it was by proximity. That rule has gone out. So if you want to team up with whomever, that's fine, but still no more than 4 teams joining together, 4 agencies, pardon me. And you must make sure that you fall under whatever category that it is that you're looking to. Recruits or cadets are considered civilian until the completion of the academy. So it doesn't matter if they're sworn in or not, they are considered civilian. The station category, there's a paragraph there that talks about where you fall under. So for LAPD, we go by deployment periods and transfers. Other agencies use different types of time periods. It spells out for there who you, for lack of better terms, belong to in regards to running, staying in the station category. Please review that. That's on page 6. Make sure that you are well aware of what those dates are. I've never taken so much backlash in regards to runners clothing as I did last year, which are tights versus a capri versus, my apologies. I took this to the committee. They talked about it, and the runners clothing, we've made the adjustments. It's there on page 12, item number 6, spells it out exactly what you can wear. The only thing is all runners shall wear upper body clothing when the temperatures exceed 78 degrees. Our runners shall not wear sweatpants. That's the only caveat. So please be aware, but also be reasonable, be smart. We had a lot of runners go down last year, as you know, which created a delay. So just be aware of, you know, your runners that are a little less experienced. Try and help guide them through what's appropriate and what's not. The runner's delay is also covered. It's always been covered, but I highlighted that section as well. That's also on page 12, and how to document any delay that's there in the book. And the communications form. So last year, again, coming back, it was one of those years where we were slow on a few things. And one of those things we were slow on is getting that communications form in. And on page 19, it talks about getting the form in a timely manner and the consequences of actually not doing so. We didn't enforce it last year. This year it will be enforced because it created some headaches for our communications person. I have one guy who's setting up all the channels for the entire race to make sure that we adhere to all the FCC guidelines. And if we don't get that information in, he can't do his job. So once I put out that date, let's make sure that we get those forms in on time. Again, that rule's on page 19. It's not that it's a new rule, it's just that it's going to be enforced this year. And it's not a big lift. It's pretty simple. It's pretty straightforward. I think once everybody got through it and went through it, they realized how simple it was. Page 21 talks about team volunteers. This was a big deal for us, and I've addressed this, like most of this information, in our videos there on the YouTube channel regarding volunteers. The big thing is number one, first of all, it doesn't have to be a sworn volunteer anymore. It can be anyone related to your team or unrelated to your team for that matter. Just understand that if that person doesn't show up, your team will be disqualified. So, you know, choose wisely, as they say. But also let them know there are several who've been involved with the race for several years, and I appreciate that. All of us do here at LAPRAC appreciate the fact that they've come out, and I'm sure you appreciate the fact that they've always done, they've always stepped up and assisted your team. However, that doesn't guarantee them any specific spot. Anything that was put into place prior to me kind of filling in these shoes here is null and void. And I say that because we ran across that a lot last year. Well, I've always done such and such, or I've always been in such and such position. Remember, your volunteer spots are based upon when you pay your entry fee. So please keep that in mind. Let your volunteers know that there are no assurances. We'll do our best to accommodate people, but it creates a lot of headaches. Adina worked really hard in getting people placed, and trying to, keep people together and things of that nature, it was difficult, to say the least. So please let them know ahead of time. There are no guarantees. And also, one other thing that we ask is send us, in our verbiage, full duty personnel, meaning there are no limitations of how long they can stand. We are reasonable, and we're talking to the OICs out there that they are trying to get everyone breaks. But I need people who can, don't have restrictions on, how long they can stand, or, being able to lift small items, or anything of that nature. Because again, that makes it difficult to place them. So just be aware, it'll probably be hot. It is a week earlier, but only a week earlier. Doesn't seem to matter when we have the race. That weekend tends to be the hottest, either 2 weeks before or 2 weeks after, because the week after the race was nice and cool, and the week before the race last year was nice and cool, but that weekend was hot. So just be aware. Couple more items before I'm going to turn it over to Ruben Crane to walk through the process on how to pay. But before I do that, a couple of items. The biggest concern I got back from the community out there on the race course, as well as some of the law enforcement agencies, was speed. So please remind your personnel that the race doesn't begin directly off the 15. It is a trek, number one. And number two, to get onto the race course is not always easy. So please, if my biggest fear is if we continue to have problems, we won't be able to get permits. It really is that simple. The only reason why we can continue to have this race is because people continue to bless our permit process. So, but that can go away very quickly. So please, talk with your teams, let them know. We did make a rule change to the start line runner. I'm going to reference it right now. I'm going to go over to page 8 of the rule book. And in there, we talk about what the change is. I'm going to read it to you verbatim here. It's start line runners. The race will start on time. Every start time will go off as planned. Team captains shall have their starting runner report to the start line registration table and check in no later than 30 minutes prior to the start time. Again, no later than 30 minutes prior to the start time. The runner shall stay in the vicinity of the start line and attend the pre-start briefing and baton issue 5 minutes prior to the start time. Late check-in is a 5-minute penalty. The committee was very, very sincere about this. They want this rule enforced, and I understand and I agree, because we cannot have people rushing over there. We can't have people missing the briefing. There are things that need to be done, so they need to be checked in, and they're on time. If not, there will be a penalty. So please understand that. Again, one item that I wanted to talk about that's unrace related, but still an opportunity here, is Laprax Memorial Run, which is on November 12th. And I'm not sure if Ruben Crane has the flyer. Oh, he is going to post the flyer for us. He's going to share the screen and put it up for us. Oh, I'm sorry. He's going to show the website. My apologies. So November 12th is the Laprax Memorial Run. It's open to all agencies. For those of you who are familiar with the hills here at Elysian Park, it is on what we call cardiac. It is a 5K, so I know it's not the 10K time trial that most of you are looking for, but it is a pretty good test. But more importantly, it pays respect to all of those across our great nation who died in the line of duty. Laprax has been gracious enough to any agency who's participating in the race and contacts Ruben Crane ahead of time. They're able to set up on the field for free to sell merchandise of their department and in honor of those officers that they've lost. So, it's a great opportunity to come out and pay respect to everybody. Again, that's on November 12th. Ruben Crane has the website up. and the pricing. There's an individual setup as well as a platoon setup for those of you who want to come out and participate. And with that, again, make sure that you're subscribing to the YouTube channel. Information is there. Before we go into questions, Ruben Crane's is going to go over how to pay for your registration fee. Also, one last item, this meeting will be on the YouTube channel later on this afternoon. So if you want to review it and go back through it, it will be there on our page. So with that, I'm going to hand it off to Ruben as far as walking through.
All right, so we've added one way to pay. You can always do what you've done in the past. You can send in a check to our admin office. You can come into our admin office during business hours and make payment as you always have. You're still able to call in with a credit card and make payment if you want to do that. But if you want to pay with credit card online, just go to our bakervegas.net website, and right on the home page, you'll see pay entry fee here. If you click that, it'll take you to the shop page. There's only one item there, so that you can't get confused, you can't make a mistake. You go in and select option, and the reason you have select option is just because, and this lock will not be there. It's just locked out, so no one can rush in and get payment before we open. We will unlock this, of course. And then you're going to go in here, and then we need you to put your control number in this top field. If you do not have a control number yet, then speak to Rick. Maybe he can help you figure out how to get that control number. But if for whatever reason, there's just absolutely no way of getting that control number, for whatever reason, it says here on the website, just enter those zeros there because it is a required field. Team number, this is your team number from what you will be this year, what you finished last year, will be your team number, your team name. This can be whatever you're calling yourself. All of this stuff should match whatever you registered with on the registration.baker2vegas website. So that should all match. So if you've done that, you can log in there. You'll be able to get all of this information there if you don't know it, but make sure it matches. Now, if you have, for some reason, you need to put a note in here. I just put this here. There's no, you don't have to put anything there. We're not asking for anything there. Just if for some reason you have to tell us something in regards to this payment, please put it there, and then you'll add it to your cart, and then you'll go ahead and make payment. If you are paying for more than one team, you will have to do this process for each team because we have to collect all this information for each payment. Now, that doesn't mean you can't do it all in one transaction. For example, I'll just put some zeros in here just to get through here. You go in and add it to your cart. Okay, now if you go, oh, I have another team, and just go hit continue shopping and just do the process again. And it will add it into your cart. See, you have them both there, both teams are listed, everything's there. You just go ahead, proceed to checkout, fill in the obviously payment information and process it through. You'll get a receipt, we'll get confirmation, and you will be paid as of the date that it processes. Rick's going to get that information. He will also go on to the registration.baker2vegas.net website. He will mark you as paid. Please give him a little bit of time. Don't think it's going to happen within 30 seconds or anything. It might take 24 hours, but he's going to go in there, mark you as paid, and so you'll know that as well there. So anyway, that's the skinny on how to do that.
Thank you, Ruben. Appreciate that. Before I open it up to questions, I got somebody I wanted to introduce. I mentioned her earlier. She is the race director, was the race director last year as well. And she is on the meeting, so she'd like to say a few words, and that is Amanda Langford.
Hi, everyone. I just wanted to say thank you to everyone for coming back from last year. If you're returning, and if you're new, then welcome. We're very pleased, happy, excited to have everybody. And I just want to introduce myself. If anyone has questions and you call the lap rack line and you push the extension for Baker to Vegas, it will go directly to my cell phone, and I will try to answer any questions. And if not, then I will direct you to who you need to talk to, or we'll find an answer for you. So again, I just want to say thank you to everyone, and we're excited for the race next year.
Thank you, Amanda. Appreciate that. And with that being said, I will open up the floor for any questions that you all might have.
Hello, this is Dwayne Graber from Santa Ana PD.
Sure.
Regarding the packets for the team, there was a real struggle last year to actually get there by 1,800 hours and get everything to the team that are different hotels and everything else by race time. Is there a way if we are able to pick up the packet earlier, like when we pick up our shirts, or if we arrange a time with you or going down there in person to pick up the packet?
So the fear of handing out the packet ahead of time is the obvious, meaning all of a sudden, you know, between whenever you pick it up, let's say hypothetically you pick it up 20 days before we head out to Vegas, and something occurs and you no longer have the packet, you know, for whatever reason, you know, and now you've, not you personally, but that team captain has put their person in a bad spot, their team in a bad spot where we can't participate anymore because we don't have all those items, or now all of a sudden everyone's got to jump through some hoops to try and put together a second packet. That's the main reason we do that, to make sure that, number one, we know you're coming out, so we know who's going to be on the course, because we did have a couple teams who didn't show up, so we knew, hey, take them off of the roster, they're not going to be out on the course. So that's our way of tracking and accountability, but also it ensures that we don't have anything that gets lost. So I'm willing to try and work with you. I'm at the hotel that entire night, so if that's a thing where, hey, you know, we're not going to get in until 1,900 hours, you know, 2,000 hours. All right. Anything later than that, you figure out something at the front desk. I'll work with you is what I'm trying to say. I won't put you guys in a spot where, you know, anybody's speeding down there to try and get there. I know what traffic's like on a Friday heading into Vegas regularly, especially that weekend. It gets pretty tight.
That makes sense. Appreciate it. And last year was my first year, so this year will be a lot smoother. So
I got you, brother. I appreciate all that everyone does. So, you know, we're in this together, and I need you guys to really understand that we're all in this together. We're going to help each other out, and I think everyone on this call, and I know everyone from the organization is going to do everything they can to make it a great experience. Any other questions? Don't put them in the chat box. Just unmute yourself and ask, please, and then just mute yourself back up.
Hey, Rick, it's Frank from Van Nuys Division. Regarding all those other the form, the communication form, the volunteer form, T-shirt form, are all those located on that registration website, the new team website, off that net.net?
Perfect. Great question, Frank. Thank you for actually asking it, because, you know, it is something that needs to be covered. So the shirts and the volunteers are all going to be done through that website. So you as a team captain, and I'll go through and I'll make a video for you guys step by step how to do it, how to invite the volunteer. Your volunteer is going to register on that website. So that way we can capture the information. We have all the contact information, and we can go through and we can place them. The shirts are also going to be done through that website. There's actually a couple of you who've gone through, and I think there's one or two of you that have already filled out your 25 shirts. Remember, you get 25 shirts. There is an agency that's put in for 20. I've got to reach back out to them and let them know that they have another 5 coming to them. As soon as that gets completed and you hit submit, I then get an email stating that team whatever has completed their shirt request. I'm printing those out and putting them together because I am going to fill them in the order that I receive them, because that's what's fair. Because what happened last year, some people drug their feet, and for whatever reason, I mean, sometimes you don't know who you're running, and quite frankly, all of you guys do this on a volunteer basis and you have lives. So I understand that, but, you know, we also, you know, end up with a whole bunch of 2Xs and not the other sizes. And The teams that submit their stuff last, unfortunately, get the leftovers. So the sooner you can get that stuff, the better. The communications form will be done on the bakervegas.net website. So the other two that I mentioned are at the registration.bakervegas.net. And Ruben Crane's going to pull that up. He's going to show you exactly how to do that on there.
Walk them through it. I'll click it.
Okay, so on there, we're going to go ahead and we're going to go to communications. And we're going to go to the right side. There's a green box that says add new. And in there, you're going to call it whatever you want to call it. And we're going to send an invitation to our volunteer. And instead of where it says co-captain, you're just going to click volunteer. And then you're going to put in their email address and click save and send. And that's going to go off to your co-captain. Now, keep in mind, these are specific to who you send to. So you can't send it to yourself and then forward it to your volunteer. It will not work for any of the stuff that's sent through here. Those links are specific to who you send them to. So please keep that in mind. In regards to shirts, you're just going to go to t-shirts and you're going to fill out your information, the bottom numbers. So if you have a team and as your runners register, those numbers are going to appear on top, on that top row. You are going to fill in whatever is needed on that bottom row or make adjustments. The numbers on that bottom row must equal 25. And then just hit submit and it'll come to me. That's it. And then, like I said, the communications we'll do as we've always done off of the bakervegas.net website. And I will get you that date from my head communications guy, which is, it'll probably be mid-February at the earliest, I would think, to somewhere in the beginning, first day of March, somewhere in that neighborhood. Anything else? Like I said, great
Question.
Yeah.
This is a new captain speaking, and I feel like maybe you just reviewed it, but how do we go about adding a co-captain to your email communications as well as giving them access to the team captain portal / information that you guys put out?
Okay.
Like for us, the new people to be able to come in and edit that.
Okay. So first of all, in regards to the registration, the registration site, the one that you have access to, registration.bakervegas.net. There is a video on YouTube that is entitled Co-Captain Invitation that walks you right through what we just did, just in case you missed it. And we're going to, and it'll walk you right through. So all you have to do is log back into that website, registration.bakervegas.net. You have to remember your password. If not, please send it over to me or send me your request and I'll reset your password. And then you just log in, go to communications, like we just did. Right-hand side, you're going to go to add new, and then you'll do it through there. Are we sharing that?
So basically the way to add the volunteer is the same way to add a captain.
A co-captain, correct. So
A
if
co-captain.
right. So what we just saw in that blue box, or just above the blue box, it said co-captain or volunteer. Ruben Crane checked on volunteer, and Ruben Crane just pulled up the video right now. That's the video on YouTube. And instead of clicking on volunteer, you'll just leave it in the default, which is co-captain. And you just put their email address in and you send it to them and they'll click on the link. Now,
Does that mean that they'll have access to the dashboard, or does that still go through the main person?
They'll have access. They'll have everything you give them access to. So you can go in there and you can control what they can and cannot see. Right now it's set up for them to have full access. You can minimize the amount of access that they have through the settings. But if you don't touch anything, they'll be able to go in and they'll be able to manipulate their runners once you guys have runners set up and things of that nature. So.
Thank you.
Absolutely. I highly encourage you guys all to let your runners, your volunteers, anybody and everybody who's interested in the race to jump onto that YouTube page and subscribe, so that way they can keep up to date as well. They'll know what's going on. Other questions?
Hey, Rick, I have a question.
Yes.
So I added a co-captain, and recently, unfortunately, they backed out, but
Okay.
the email is still on the on that portal. And when I click delete, it won't remove. So is there a way we can remove that email?
So you're going to go back into your system, registration.bakervegas.net. You will log in and you will go to users. And on there, you will see that individual. You are going to delete that individual from the system. Once you delete that individual from the system, they no longer have access. They will no longer be recognized. And then you just go into communications and add the new invitation to the individual that you want as your co-captain.
Okay, thank you.
Absolutely. Anything else anybody needs? Okay. Well, I thank you guys all for your time. I know, as I always say, I know it's, you all have busy lives and time is precious. So thank you guys all. You all know how to reach both Adina and I. So any questions you have, please reach out. And we are going to open up payments in just a few short minutes, as soon as Ruben Crane can go in there and unlock the system. So take care, everyone. We'll talk soon. Bye-bye.